We're prepping for the most difficult, longest, and most important quest that Jagex has released up to this point. So huge, in fact, that I don't know what we can even do to prepare for it. But first, before we get into that, we need to find out what's new in the game. We unlocked just over 3 months of updates. Let's see what they are. August 5th, 2008. Jagex improved their client to allow for a resizable mode, letting players enjoy the full screen format within the boundaries they choose. August 12th. A rune crafting guild and minigame are added, the Great Orb Project. Players get on 2 teams and work to get their team's energy into the rune crafting altars, while preventing the other team from doing the same. The guild requires 50 rune crafting to enter and includes a pouch repairer and a new talisman that counts as all talismans combined, but can only be obtained once you have them all. September 2nd. Jagex created a new system called Distractions and Diversions. 3 activities that can be repeated on a set timer are added to the game, with more planned. These 3 are Balthazar Beauregard's Big Top Bonanza, a circus that players can participate in for XP and magic range and agility, as well as some cosmetics, repeatable once a week. Penguin Hide and Seek. 10 penguins are scattered across RuneScape. They function as boundless NPCs, meaning they spawn in one place but can wander anywhere they want, as long as they're not blocked by a door or some other barrier. Larry will reward players with points for finding the penguins each week, which can be traded at any time for gold or experience in any skill. Finally, Shooting Stars, a mining activity that players can scout out every 2 hours on each world. Stars will fall from the sky and land at a random location. The first to find the star gets a bulk of mining XP, and once the star is broken, players are rewarded with gold ore, cosmic, and astral runes, and a buff to mining for a short time. September 9th. Clan Wars gets a glow up. But of course we don't care about that since PvP is dead. What we do care about is we can use Bob Barter's Decant feature at the Grand Exchange to automatically sort out our potions. September 29th. Defender of Varrock is released, and along with it is a change to regen bracelets, giving them stats for the first time. Previously, all they gave was the HP regen boost. The next day on the 30th, Jagex decided to increase the trade limit. Every 15 minutes, a player can give or take up to 60,000 GP in wealth from other players, scaling with their quest points up to 270. The more quests you do, the more you can take or give away. October 15th. Jagex changes the login process. Now instead of clicking on the world you want to use and the level of detail you want in your game, simply click play, and all those options are within the client. Actually, the world switcher has been in for a little while, but they finally got around to removing the world selection on their website. Sometimes I forget the game is still entirely browser-based at this point in time. On the same day, Jagex revealed PvP worlds, a special type of world where players can attack each other almost anywhere, but there's no free trade. Who would want to risk their items for no rewards? Jagex did something pretty smart here. They added drop tables to players. Yep, on a PvP world, if you're killed, your killer has a role on your drop table. The drops a player will get include some of the wrist items that the victim had on them, PKing supplies, and rarely, the brand new level 78 armor and weapons that belong to 4 great warriors from the Third Age: Vesta, Stadius, Morrigan, and Zuriel. Their equipment encompass all 3 combat styles and make for the strongest weapons and armor in the game. That's a lot, huh? We're not even done yet. They have 2 versions, Corrupt and Superior. The Superior variant is the level 78, and the Corrupt is a weaker version, but only requires level 20. Here's the trade-off: this gear is ancient, it's brittle, it breaks into dust, and it does fast. Corrupted only lasts 15 minutes in combat, and the Superior isn't much better at 1 hour of combat. Back to the update, we've also got a new dynamic calculation for combat level. It's the same as it was before, unless you're in a PvP situation. If a player has no summoning pouch and no familiar summon, their combat level no longer factors their summoning level. This means that your combat level can go up or down a maximum of 12 levels at 99 summoning, depending on what you bring with you. And finally, the Corporeal Beast gains its iconic Stomp attack, in response to players standing under it to avoid damage. November 11th, 2008. Our last update today introduces my favorite minigame from way back when, Stealing Creation. A PvP gathering minigame has 2 teams battling it out for Sacred Clay, a resource that takes many different forms, including rocks, fish, and wood. Players gather the clay using the appropriate gathering skill, turn it into various items, including armor, weapons, runes, arrows, summoning pouches, gathering tools, and a few more. Then the players have the choice to keep some of the items or bank them for the team. The more items you bank, the more points you get. Now we get into the PvP part. Any player can attack or be attacked by anyone on the opposite team, and if you die, you lose all your clay items, dropping them for the other team. You can play as a gatherer, supporting your team, a protector, warding off the enemies while your gatherers get clay, or even an aggressor, attacking the enemy team to slow their progress or even steal their clay. The rewards from this minigame were various tools which provide a limited amount of double XP in their skills before crumbling to dust. Okay, now we're on to the preparation phase. We need 65 herblore and farming before we can end today's episode, and I have no idea where we're going to get that farming XP. One thing I know we can do is get a bunch of watermelon seeds. Let's start there. Something went wrong. Something went very wrong. One morning I went to bed after recording some progress, and I woke up the next to my computer not turning on. I'm pretty knowledgeable with the inner workings, so I took it apart and found the problem. My brand new 1-week-old M2 SSD crashed. I made a mistake. I moved every single bit of my data over there, besides my archives of previous episodes. That includes every single clip I recorded for this HAP episode. Not only that, I've lost my assets. CLPs are gone. All my presets and settings are gone. OBS overlay is gone. I can remake all the assets. I can remake the overlay, but no matter what I do, I can't remake the video recordings. For the first time in our journey, we've got a missing stretch of content. I made a mistake. I tried to recover the data, but SSD recovery is quite difficult. Nothing on the drive is accessible, and I can't afford to even try to have a professional attempt it, so it's gone. I am incredibly thankful that this didn't happen on a full episode. Could you imagine if I lost footage of an entire quest? That's been one of my biggest fears when working on this project. Completing a master or higher level quest and losing the footage. How would I even fix that? Make a new account? At least the clips of leveling aren't a big deal, and most of the content in a HAP episode I could sort of repeat, albeit not for the first time, but this can't happen again. I've already taken precautions to make sure RS3 Released is protected from anything like this. While I was heartbroken to have to go through this, I was actually kind of optimistic about the future. I have the opportunity to make things better. I've remade the overlay, making it slightly more accurate to 2008. CLPs look better than ever. More on that later. And I've gotten everything to how I want it. We are so back. The only thing I need to do is catch you up on what RS3 Release has been up to. Now, like I was saying, we needed seeds for farming, and the only real renewable way to get them is watermelon seeds from temple trekking. So that's what we did. We did about 6 or 7 treks until I remembered that a few episodes ago, while going for the lumberjack outfit, I saved the tokens. So I opened up all those for about 300 watermelon seeds. We planted at every allotment patch over a couple of days, planting watermelons, limpworts, herbs, and left a nestorium in each patch to protect our melons. We got up to 62 farming from 57 with that. We also processed most of our herbs, getting from 61 to 64. In between doing all that, we explored the D&Ds for the first time. It's actually been a week since we did, so we could just do them again now. Balthazar's Beauregard's Big Top Bonanza, or just the circus, is pretty straightforward. RNG skill checks for agility, magic, and range. Let's do agility first. Oh, nice. 71 agility. Oh wow, we swept it. We got a nice nearly 10k agility XP and some pants. Next is magic. Got most of them. Oh hey, it's Sergeant Damien from the Drill Sergeant Random Event. Apparently he's an old war buddy of Balthazar. They've both retired, and Damien got a job working for Balthazar. Now the ranged event. Another piece of the outfit and a bunch of XP. That's all there is to do with the circus, at least right now. We might get more events here later. Next, we ran around the world hunting for penguins, so guess what we're gonna do now? First one in Brimhaven. I didn't even know you could walk up here. Next is in Toronto. There's a couple in the wilderness, one in the Dark Warrior's Fortress, and the other one in the Lava Maze, Ardorian Castle. It's making a break for it! Letya, Finkenstrain's Castle, Barrows, Polnimnich, and finally Rebecca. Let's go turn in. There was a dialogue here where Larry was explaining that the penguins are all on recon all around the world, and we need to spy on them spying on us. And that's pretty much all the lore there is to this. He also gave us a spy device that doesn't come out for another decade, so I destroyed that. Alright, it's time to spend all these points. I actually may have gotten a little bit more points than you're probably expecting. That's because, ever since I created this account, if I ever see a penguin, I click on it. I can't help it, but of course I didn't spend it until now. Let's see how much XP this will give us. $63 farming, 64, and 65. And we have enough points to get 65 herblore. We now have all the levels we need for Wild Gothic Sleeps. And then we did the final D&D, a shooting star. I think we may have missed the window. Oh, perfect. Where is it? There it is. Oh, nice. 5.7k mining XP just for finding it. Now we mine. Oh, hey, 77 mining. Now we give our Stardust to this goober here for some runes and gold. Nice. So we did 3 other things. First, we went around the portals that we unlocked for Summer's End and got a bunch of XP rewards. Let's go ahead and repeat that real quick. First, we went to the Limport farming place and got 15k farming XP. Next, we went back to the Bond farm and got 7.5k farming XP. Then we went to the Magical Axe Hut, got 11k attack XP, and found these ghostly warriors with no axes. Then we went over here to the Rogue's Castle and got 15k thieving XP. These 2 doors were open. We slammed them shut and went back to the corporeal world, and we found it opened these doors. Inside was a rogue jailed for stealing from other rogues. He told us to meet him in Varrock, and we did. Then he told us he'd buy any unenchanted gold jewelry we had. Neat. Then we headed back to the wilderness and found this portal in the castle ruins, getting 7.5k smithing XP. Next was the Forgotten Cemetery. We got 15k prayer XP and also found these coffins. If we closed them in the corporeal world and opened them again in the spirit world, it spawns 4 level 50 ghosts. We killed a few of them, and they have some neat drops like prayer potions and Minar seeds. The final portal we went through was here at the Chaos Altar. We got 7.5k prayer XP, which leveled us up to 71, and we found this ghost here. We grabbed our ghost speak amulet and talked to him. Who are you?
I promised I would never leave his side. Then they froze me and I could no longer keep up.
That doesn't really answer the question. Who are you?
Did you come to give me your flesh?
No, I just want to know who you are.
They called me something. It may have been Lamel or Urgan.
You don't even remember your name?
My name is an importance of the past, and no longer a burden I must carry with me.
How long have you been here?
Since shortly before Red and Blue were rudely interrupted by Green.
I see.
Can Lamel or Naglu share more of his knowledge with you, Flesh Dancer?
When were Red and Blue interrupted?
At some point in the afternoon, before the arrows, but after the demons.
I mean, at what point in time?
It was the 3rd in a row, around the nights of 4,000 glowing eyes. It had already been born from pain, but I was late.
Oh, when you put it that way.
Was that the end of your dance?
What are you doing here?
The sword had sought its new home, and my time in flesh was over. Demons laughed and angels wept. I froze, but my lord moved, and I was left in the presence of pain.
I take it you died?
Your dance entertains them all. As truly as the western lands fell, but I have not strayed from his red path. No, I have been careful.
Whose path?
The red Rokasma, of course. No, Ludgam has not followed the path of men. Mokazra was a beacon of war, as well as a searching light. Oh, how he searched. The light got weaker, so Lamrig lit a candle of his own. But Tighux put his fist down, and demons as well as angels flew.
What did he search for?
It's a secret, so secret that not even the candles knew. But they would look, and they would guess, and red faded to darkness and extinguished the candles of failure. But the red beacon was not alone in its flicker. No, all lights mimicked the one that came before. They took turns being the glowing eye, and now the eye was blue. But that's when Hugixt took it away.
Who did what now?
One said right, one said left, the paths crossed, and there was middle. The struggle shone with the light of living eyes, but they grew bleak, withered, and died.
Who died?
Many of us, but we had to. We were insignificant in their reflections. Nothing but a second of necessary suffering for their benefit. Leaves will fall from the trees, but the mountains remain. But then he awoke and disrupted it all.
Who woke up?
Green. The red path had fallen in the shadow of blue wings, but all knew what had to be done. The crossroads would be intertwined into one, and the struggle would cease.
And that's when Green woke up?
Yes, it mixed and all was white. The crossroad chose no path. It became a wall. The bright light blinds whoever comes too close, and everyone crashes into the wall, unable to get away, and only because of Green. Only because it would not see a leaf be pulled from the tree, but instead fall to the ground and slowly rot. It did nothing good for anyone involved. The light must continue to flow, but the bearer of the prism is nowhere to be seen. not with the start of the tale taken away. If only it had let us end it the only true way. Now dance, you disguised in the flesh of past times. Geralt must rest.
Then the next thing we attempted to do was the two new minigames, the Great Orb Project and Stealing Creation. Sadly, both are completely empty. They only get together when a group of people want to play and then coordinate outside of the game or in a clan chat or something. And the final thing we did was exactly one half of the meeting history and making history post-quest treasure hunt. We did all the 11 of the initial hunt, and then my SSD crashed the next day. As you can see, we have all three Mjolnirs. This one we unfortunately won't be able to repeat. And well, there we go. We've now caught up and redone everything that I lost from the drive failure. Woo! So I want to restate what CLPs are and how we get them. Seal points, or CLPs, are a random metric I made up one day to have a guide on when we've done enough to end a half episode. Once we acquire 100, the half episode can end. We get them in a few different ways. 1 point for each level up we get, 10 points for each new collection log item we get, 4 points for each Master Quest Cape achievement we get. I'm actually going to expand this to any achievement in the lore category, which is pretty much the same thing. And 4 points for each new update we explore. This one's a bit arbitrary, but if you ever see on screen a check mark over the update image, you know what it's for. Now to count up all the seal points we have so far. We started at 61 at Herb Lore, got 4 levels at 65, that's 4 CLPs. From 57 farming to 65 is another 8. From completing the Rogue Down achievement for freeing the Rogue in the Rogue's Castle, we got another 4. And we also got a Prayer level, an Agility level, and a Mining level. We've explored all the D&Ds for 4, and that puts us at 23 seal points. Now we get to adventure. What now, though? We haven't really gotten any stronger than we were in the last half episode, and the bosses we have access to are kind of out of reach for now. But that doesn't mean we can't try. The beast is incredibly powerful and will easily kill all but the most skilled warriors. Due to the beast's soul-devouring powers, you will not get a gravestone on death. Are you sure it was injured? Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Ow! Okay. We're doing it. Oh, I don't have my inventory. Okay, yeah, I don't think we can kill this thing. Alright, so we can hit 81s with this. How much can we hit with the Great Axe? 88? Okay. 57 max hit. Wait, I hit a 88 then a 57? Huh? Okay, what is this? What are the orange hit splat to mean? Oh! Huh. Well, that was certainly a poor choice. I do get a gravestone. Maybe sometime in the future. Oh, I know. Jennica's ring. We can kill revenants. I think this looks good to go. Wait, what the heck is wrong with me? I can die and lose everything. I don't even have a level 30 wilderness teleport that I can use. There, that looks a little more reasonable. So back then, all the revenants would be scattered around the wilderness and you'd have to hunt them. After 2011, they were all pushed back into this cave. Here we are. Oh, geez, I didn't realize this was multi. Well, we got a few, but we need to upgrade something real quick. There we go. Salve amulet. Also, I think melee is a terrible idea because of multi. We can cast from far away using magic. Let's see how well this goes. Oh yeah, this is way better. Where's the knight? That one drops an amulet of glory. Jeez, he takes a long time to go down. Well, we got a few kills under our belt now. I think that's good. Sadly, the glory is only about a 1 in 50 drop with the ring, so I don't think it's worth grinding for based on the cost of air runes. Let's see if we can get any of these achievements here. Wow, this menu's kind of bad. Hold on. Well, this is better, but still doesn't tell us what we've already done. Well, I found this. So on the second floor, there's a book of notes by Nestor Peregrine, a famous dwarven explorer who adventured behind Trollheim.
There are many stories and histories among the dwarves about the mountains beyond Trollheim, all of which tell of great secrets and wealth lying buried for aeons. Now, I've never been able to resist the lure of the unknown, which is the reason I've explored the length and breadth of Gielinor, so rumors that an ancient temple had been discovered north of the Death Plateau had me jumping to get out there and see for myself. The journey into the mountains was uneventful, save for the amount of time I had to spend finding a reasonable route into the mountains. My first attempt took me to the west of the ice path, journeying through the ice gate, but I was thwarted by a huge snowbank, which I couldn't find any way over. I had no desire to pass any pesky trolls, so once again, I took the long route. This time, I traveled deep into the blighted landscape that is called the wilderness, only to be thwarted by a steep cliff. At one point, I found some purchase in the rock face, but my attempts were futile, and I was forced to have sailed down the cliff to try a different approach. My third attempt was from the south. I snuck past the trolls under the cover of darkness, and eventually found a small valley that was blocked by rockfall. Fortunately, my small size allowed me to squeeze between the rocks and the avalanche debris, and I found myself beset by starving wolves. I fled from them and found signs of an ancient battle, mostly hidden by the snow. The ruins seemed to indicate that a great palace or temple once stood here, but time and events have taken their toll, and there was naught but rubble left. Exploring the area, I found a massive pit where the ground had collapsed, so I tied off my rope and descended, hand over hand into the maws of hell. Below the ruins was a massive cave, stretching as far as the eye can see and filled with all manner of demons, goblins, and strange birdmen, all locked in mortal combat. As I watched, a small battalion of orcs surrounded and slew a demon, but were then themselves besieged by a pack of hellhounds. I'm an explorer, not a warrior, so I left the same way that I'd come, taking my rope with me so that none of those monstrosities could escape their prison. If there was treasure or gold to be found in those ruins, the risk was not worth the reward. Although some may argue with me. One other incident bears remarking upon. While leaving the mountain peaks, I stumbled upon a small group of undead trolls marching northwards. All I can say is that the trolls are even stupider dead than they are alive, for they did not see me at all, even though I was hiding behind some rubble, only feet from where they marched. I feel that my next journey should take me in a different direction completely. Word has come to me that the poisonous swamps far to the southwest may be traversable, which is something I cannot help but explore. Even now, I can feel a tingling wanderlust.
There's a diary that we put on our bookcase that belonged to Irby Flax, the person researching a cure for the blight in Morton. Let's go grab it. Oh yeah, we kind of need to build the bookcase first. Here we are. So let's see what the Varrock apothecary thinks of it. He says he wants to take it for the scientific community of Varrock in exchange for some herbal XP. Nice! 335 XP. Just like that. Ooh, I found one we may have almost done. Back to our bookcase. My notes. We already had the first 17 paragraphs from Scabarite tasks. The last two are here and here. Let's add those to our research notes. The archaeologists theorized that Sophamnem was built by the refugees freeing Ulek. The disaster that befell Ulek left in its wake a large number of undead creatures in the area. There is some debate between the two archaeologists as to whether these undead are the result of vile sorcery or simply the results of the use of the area as a graveyard. Initial findings seem to suggest that the area was once heavily forested, in stark contrast to its current desert state. Abigail seems convinced that this is due to humans chopping down all the trees, but Kerner is of the opinion that trees regrow so quickly as to make such deforestation impossible. The foresters are most incompetent as of late. Their claims that sources of wood are becoming scarce smacks of laziness. I shall have them flogged if quotas are not fulfilled. The furnaces must remain lit. Another setback. The deliveries of timber we were expecting have arrived, but are in the form of bank certificates. While we could burn them, I fear it may not be of much use. For now, I've had them stored with the other certificates. It appears as if Elidinus has forsaken us. Armies led by vile misbelievers are smiting the northern settlements. User is under siege, and it cannot be long before we are also under assault. The outside areas may fall, but we should be secure in the tunnels beneath Ulek. It has come to retreat. I can only blame myself for the next revelation I must make to the survivors. We are low on timber, and the ventilation will ultimately fail as a result. The vast stocks of dry dung in which I'd placed faith for fuel in such emergency are soaking wet, and infested with some sort of giant maggot.
That's bad for both morale and health. I feel that this is simply a reflection of our current dire situation. I only pray that we're not forced to starvation and the dire choices that would entail. Eclairn has not taken us after all. Though many died in these stinking warrens, we few have survived. We will now travel to the village of Sophamnem and hope there are other survivors there. I vowed to pay for a temple to be built there, in honor of the deities who saved us. That is, if our currency is of any value in the New World Order. As Scabarite custom dictates, the outer gateways have been sealed. No disturbances will now occur, and we may worship in peace. The fortuitous discovery of a large stock for Jor may even allow for some of the less pious worshippers to breed. The relaxation of the breeding rules may have been something of a mistake. More of the young men seem to believe that we should leave the darkness and seek to explore the outer areas, where odd noises have been heard. I shall pray for guidance, even though answers from Scabarus are clearly unlikely. Although he did not reply directly, I've been seized by visions of some sort. A female with a red-sheened carapace and antenna spoke to me, sending disquiet through my soul. Could it really be that only the destruction of all other life will allow us the isolation we crave? I am convinced we will break through to the surface and ensure these noises are quieted. Silence shall be ours. Both the chasm and the outer areas are currently under investigation by those dedicated enough to accept the pollution of their souls for the greater good. The chasm has proven to be a dead end to us, for the moment. The external trek has been useful, though. We discovered some large creatures, not wholly unlike us, with the capacity to leap great distances. Some have been captured for research. There were others, too, dead, but moving. Could this kind of existence provide the ultimate solitude? A breakthrough of sorts. The leaping creatures have enabled us to send warriors up to the chasm to explore. They report a large area of tunnels which they are now securing with traps. Traps that should be effective against the soft-skinned humans we can even now smell. Contact! We have slain several human warriors after emerging into the outer areas of the surface settlement. I am, however, worried that this contact might be sullying the forces. I've instructed that more traps be used so that pollution does not occur. The red-tinged female reappeared and urged for a more active destruction of the surface dwellers. The dreams come evermore, and my mind is torn. She speaks for Scabarus, and I shall follow. But I have not had such communication in years, and the toll upon me is telling. Everything is blurring. Now I realize there are two minds within me, and neither is strong enough to be cursed so with no chance to be alone. Even with myself, I must control my thoughts, or should that be we? Paralyzed by indecision or firm in the face of adversity, aloof or apathetic, violent or strong, merciful or weak, there is no difference within me. What will be the ultimate fate? The High Priest seems to be wandering in his mind, so we shall follow the last instructions that Scabarus would wish us to. The outsiders will be destroyed. We slew one in the upper chambers, and set our largest guardian to guard with the area where he was found. All too close to the chasm. A setback. The scarab guardian we left by the chasm was slain. Although no penetration was made up to the nearest via this route, we have increased the number of perimeter traps and are considering a full assault among the settlement known as Sophamnem. We have had reports of an intruder in the vaults before the doors, an area not yet fully set with traps. I have had visions of Scabarus in the guise of a female with red chitin. Now I know what we must do. Destroy everyone for ultimate peace and solitude. Now, the rest of the journal was when we were talking to the High Priest. The High Priest of Scabarus has a view of the genesis of Scabarus that differs from my own. In his opinion, the three dreams giving rise to the other minor deities were ultimately unsatisfactory to Tumekin. Thus, on the fourth night of dreaming, Scabarus was brought into being. The most perfect of the deities, and the most pleasing to Tumekin. The most important part of the cult precepts seems to be that solitude is the ideal circumstance for self-improvement and an untroubled existence. Most orthodox teachings of Scabarus rely on the worshipper meditating in silence, with interaction frowned upon due to being likely to pollute the mind. The recent events have reinforced this view as far as the High Priest is concerned. The pollutions of the Devourer's words led to the recent depredations of the Scabarus cult. Obviously, the Devourer was able to convince the High Priest that solitude could be only guaranteed by killing non-Scabarites. After turning away from the influence of the Devourer, it is perhaps quite flattering that he would choose to talk to me at all. Although the pollution is now driven from the mind of the High Priest, the perversion of Scabarus' teaching has driven many of the Scabarites permanently insane. Slaying them is thus an act of mercy in the opinion of the High Priest. In any case, these deranged beings will not be a threat to any but those who approach them. Sophamnem is safe. When I questioned the High Priest of Scabarus as to the origins of the Scabarites, I gained a few useful facts. Apparently, their physical form is a blessing for generations of loyal service to Scabarus. Many of them live in the dark places beneath the soil, though such gatherings such as I have seen are very rare indeed.
We talked to Abigail and let her copy our notes in exchange for 10,000 GP. Let's go back and visit the best salesman on RuneScape. So far we have his general store and rune shop, but we still need some Sophanite clothes and Paul Nivnian blackjacks. First we head to Paul Nivnian and talk to the blackjack seller. Apparently he idolizes Ali Morrisane. We asked him to make a larger variety of blackjacks for Ali to sell. We offered to demonstrate that his blackjacks aren't offensive enough, saying we bet he can't knock us out. He says he doesn't like the odds of it. We tell him to hit us twice then. He calls us crazy, and then hits us twice without causing any visibly lasting damage. He says he'll make some offensive blackjacks and ship them to Ali. Now we head down to Sophamnem and speak to Sophamnem, the seamstress. We tell her that Ali wants to sell her garments. She says she needs more materials to accommodate for it. We give her 3 snakehide. Ali's shop is now complete, and he says he's going to give us discounts on magic carpet travel. Let's do the second half of the treasure hunt with the enchanted key. There's 11 treasures to find by following the temperature of the key. First one's in the Gnome Stronghold by the Gnome Ball Court, next in the Shantae Pass, Brimhaven, the edge of the wilderness, Tybor One-Eye Mine, the Feldub Hunter area, already using the cheaper flying carpet cost to get to Narda, west of Sophamnem, north of the bandit camp, eastern wilderness, Death Plateau, and finally the Scorpion Pit. As we get the final piece of treasure, the key dissolves. I've actually never done this before. I didn't know that would happen. Here's another one I've never done. We head to Yatiso and speak to Velika Gasriet. She's so mad that we taxed her 5k. We give her a full refund, and she lets us know that all yak products are banned on Yatiso, but she has a contraband store that she's willing to allow us to peruse. There's another we can do, but first we need 3 more fire-making levels, and the perfect way to do that is the all-fired-up minigame. It's pretty much just the quest, but there's more beacons and we're on a timer. We only have the levels for 4 beacons right now. Alrighty, first one's right here. Second one over here. How much XP is this? Holy! Alrighty, that's all of them lit. Now we can just do lines of fires while we wait for them to go out, which will take about 15 minutes. This is what we'll do all the way to 60 fire making, 58 fire making, 59. That unlocks the next beacon. And there's level 60. Now we can go unlock all the balloon destinations. We already have Varrock here. Now the Crafting Guild. Next is Castle Wars. And now for the Gnome Stronghold. Oh hey, it's Backstorian Falls. Wait, isn't this on the southern side? Doesn't that mean we're flying east of the falls? But the stronghold is west of them. Oh well. All routes unlocked. Check this out. Fastest way into the Myerditch Laboratory. Search this skeleton for some runes. There's only 1 eagle we haven't unlocked yet. This cave right here isn't accessible yet, but there's a vine that just needs some support to grow. We place a teasing stick on it and let it grow. That should take about 40 minutes. We're basically rich from all the money we're saving on flying carpets already. We have Leia get us back inside Clinter's Pyramid one final time. I've seen this chest before, but I don't think I've ever opened it. Just dodge these traps. And oh, baby 50 coins. Here in Dorgesh Khan, there's a bunch of foodies who love trying exotic food. Lurgan here is overseeing it. We ask if we could join. He says we need to get permission from Urtag. We ask Urtag, and he says of course. Oh hey, those vines grew. Now we have all the eagles unlocked also. In the Rusty Anchor Inn in Port Saran, the bartender we got drunk and swindled into stocking Braindust rum has some payment for us. 20 whole gold. He says it'll arrive soon. For us to kill ourselves with? He insists. We pay a visit to the observatory assistant and ask him his real name. He's Patrick. He tells us the professor's real name, Mambo Duna Runa. We accuse him of making it up, and he gives us wine and says Scorpius would be proud. What? He tells us to check the book nearby and look for a grave. We take the book off the table and open it. The Tale of Scorpius.
The Tale of Scorpius, a history of astronomy in RuneScape. At the start of the Fourth Age, a learned man by the name of Scorpius, known well for his powers of vision and magic, sought communion with the gods of the world. So many unanswered questions had he that he had devoted his entire life to this cause. After many years of study, seeking knowledge from the wise of that time, he developed a machine infused with magical power, infused with the ability to pierce into the very heavens. A huge eye that gave the user incredible sight like never before. As time passed, Scorpius grew adept at using his specialized skills and followed the movements of the stars in RuneScape, which he mapped and named, and are still used to this very day. Before long, Scorpius used his knowledge for predicting the future, and in turn, he called upon the dark knowledge of Zamorakian worshippers to further his cause. Living below ground, the followers of the Dark God remained until the local tribes and settlements grew in strength and control. The chieftains of that time worked to banish the Zamorakian followers in the area, hiding all reference to Scorpius's invention due to its evil nature. Years after, when the minds of the kings lent more towards the research of the unknown, the plans of Scorpius were uncovered and the heavenly eye constructed again. Since then, many have studied the ways of the astronomer Scorpius, and in his memory, a grave was constructed near the observatory. Some claim his ghost still wanders nearby in torment as he seeks the secrets of the heavens that can never be solved. Tales tell that he will grant those adept in the arts of the astronomer a blessing of unusual power. Here ends the tale of how astronomy entered the known world.
We head to the ZMI altar and find Scorpius' grave with his spirit haunting it. He talks to us clearly, but we're not wearing our ghost speak amulet. He says we can sense that we've seen through the observatory lens, and Zamorak instructs him to help us. He gives us an unholy mold and says he will bless any that we make. Back in Sophamnem, we talk with Clinter, the ghostly spirit we grave robbed. He forgives us and says he'll depart. We tell him we want to ask him something first, but he's gone before we do. Hold on, I had no idea you could do this. So in the Lost Tribe quest, Mistag is the one who dropped this brooch. If we pick it up and give it to him, he gives us a mining helmet. Does the brooch respawn? Yes. Well, that would have been pretty neat if it didn't, though. We break back into Cambo's and talk to Romano, telling him that we were able to use the shield to repel the zombies. He says that's good. Hold on, I bet we could do more. Reldo told us all in Camdo dwarves love red berry pie. We go out and bake him one, and before we can even offer him it, he can smell it and ask for some. He gives us 1k smithing XP in return. I think to round off this half episode, we'll do some good old-fashioned skilling. I've done a few good hours of blackjacking in old school RuneScape, but never in RS3. Let's check it out. Lure this guy in here. Oops. Let's try that again. Yeah, it's the exact same mechanics as old school. 65 thieving, off to minifights. 66, 67, 68, 69... Wait, hold on. Oh my, I didn't know there was UI scaling. Hold on, I might be able to do something with this. Ooh, that looks way easier to see. I'm glad I found that setting. Much better. And 70 thieving. Everything was against us to make this episode never happen. We rose from the ashes better than ever. Thanks for making it to the end. Give this video a like if you think it deserved it. I think it does, and I hope you do too. Next episode, it's time to see what Lucian's been up to after all these years, and to see what this world does while Guthix sleeps.